Hello, everyone, and welcome to Red Alert Diaries with Tanya E. Hood. I am Tanya E. Hood, a wife, a mother, and an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, it simply means that I've worn a lot of different hats that have helped me develop a full range of strategies and actionable steps that I've used to help my clients use strategic impact both personally and professionally to have better than what life has been giving them. Red Alert Diaries is based off of the life lessons from my premier book, Red Alert, Is He the One? The Pocket Guide to Finding the Love of Your Life. This series discusses topics of personal growth, such as building wealth, developing healthy relationships, both personally and professionally, as well as living your authentic life and personal healing. If you read my book, then you already know that I got married at 21, and after 11 years of marriage, I found myself going through a divorce. To reset my life and survive my divorce, I took the time that I needed to develop the strategies to navigate the hurdles of life after divorce. And by taking the time to get to know me better, I opened myself up to new love. I'm now remarried to my best friend and the love of my life, which proves there is life after divorce. And let me take a closer look at you to see who do we have with us today as we share this event and this adventure, and to just let you know a little bit more about myself, because some of you may be wondering. A couple of the things that I discovered along the way was that I have the natural ability to organize chaos. I also, let's see that my screen was not on, so you all are hearing me speak in the nether realms and not even looking at my face. Well, thank you for joining us today. And I wanted to let you know that today we have some great insight. And what I bring to the table is life lessons that I have. And that's what Red Alert Diaries is about. But what I also bring to the table is some great information from individuals that are in our group. Today, we will hear more insight about the strategies of how to heal from the hurricanes of heartbreak and plant love inside yourself so you can cultivate it daily while you produce your best self. We'll get more insight from this information from the featured guest today, D. Grant Smith. He has a unique way of combining storytelling with philosophy and actionable steps to help you grow into your best self. So let me pause really quick because I want to make certain that you guys can put some information in the chat box. We're sharing this in the group, but there's more action, that takes place when you join live. So if you can hear me well, just put yes in the chat box. And if you know you are here because you are ready to take the strategies to a next level, type yes in the chat box so we can make certain that we're all hearing that. And I'm glad you all are here and welcome. And Dee, thank you so much for taking this time to share with us the information that you have learned to help us glean how to heal from the heartbreak, the hurricanes that cause us heartbreak from the mess that we have in our lives. Let me go back and share the screen so you can give us a little more information about the different points in life. Talk to us about this a little bit more, Dee.
Well, first off, thank you so much for doing this, Tanya. You open up this door for people like me and everyone else to be able to grow and learn and heal. One of the things that I'm sure one of the things that you went through, and probably something you talk about in your book, it's something I talk about in my book. All this stuff is a journey. Most of the things that we do, especially with now we've got social media and all kinds of technology, we think that there's like this fast way to just suddenly get to the place that we want to go, and it requires patience. And so I appreciate your patience, and I appreciate everybody here. Sandra and Marine, it's good to see you guys. Would you like me to go ahead and get started, Tanya?
Sure. You could begin with the points, but let's pause for a second. If you do not have pen and paper, now is the time to get it. Because he is about to give you several points that will save your soul and help you get to your next level. Because I'm certain you already know that where you are is not where you want to be. And today you'll get strategies to get you to your next level. So with that, I will turn it back over to you.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, she's right. You want some pen and paper. So one of the things that she kind of alluded to, and yes, I am a very metaphoric person. That's kind of the way that I communicate and the way that I teach. So I'm gonna paint some pictures with words and use that as a way for us to kind of insert ourselves into the story and also change the way that we think about ourselves and the way that we think about our experiences in life. So if you ever decide to connect with me outside of this group, you'll see that I talk about farming. I call it relationship growth farming. And what I'm going to show you guys how to do in some ways is I'm going to show you how to farm inside your own self, because it's very essential, especially to the way that we deal with overcoming heartbreak and just relationships in general. So to start everything off, I like to paint pictures and I like to kind of communicate in different ways. But I want you, if you will, just for a moment, just a second, close your eyes, and I want you to picture the color blue. Now, think about this blue. Now, maybe you're just thinking about a color. Maybe you're thinking about a pen. I've got a blue pen right here. For me, every time I think of the color blue, even when I pick up a blue pen, this pops into my head, I think of the ocean, because the ocean's like my favorite place. My dream is to live on the beach. I want to wake up in the morning and go walk out on the beach, and I want to go to bed at night hearing the waves crash into the shore. I'm going to paint a picture of the beach for you here in a little bit. A couple of different pictures actually, but the beach is just a place of tranquility and a place of peace and a place of beauty. And a lot of us spend time dreaming about the beach. All right, you can open your eyes. I want to stay in this thought though of the beach, because the beach, yes, is a place that you love. It's a place that feels good, but there's another side that can happen in living on the beach. So sometimes storms blow into the beach. Sometimes the regular storms that we're used to, thunder, lightning, wind, rain, all that fun stuff. But sometimes there are these massive, humongous storms that they give names to, first names to, hurricanes. They're a huge source of destruction. These winds are not just regular winds. They're like 90, 100 something mile an hour winds. And when they come, they bash against the shore and they flood the streets and they turn everything in life completely upside down. Now, this juxtaposition of the perfect, tranquil, beautiful, happy, vacation-y, lovely beach and the hurricane beach is very similar to relationships. They can be beautiful, they can be poetic, they can be wonderful in every way, everything you've ever thought that you dreamt of. Or maybe you get this picture of what it can be like and you're like, okay, I'm gonna make this thing happen. I'm gonna jump right into it. And it's super romantic and it's awesome. Then over a period of time, or sometimes seemingly out of nowhere, you wake up and there's a hurricane in your yard or in your bed. And now it's smashed into you. And that hurricane has hit your heart, it's hit your life, it's hit your mind, it's destroying everything that you know to be normal and everything you know to be good. Now, I don't know where you folks are in your divorce process. Maybe you're a recent divorce, or maybe you're in the process of going through, the paperwork's been filed and you're trying to sort through things and you've got all kinds of emotions and you've got all kinds of things that are circling around. Or maybe you've experienced the end of a relationship that was the end was building for a long time. Maybe it came out of nowhere. Or maybe it was years ago when you experienced divorce and you're still in the process of healing. What I've learned is that it doesn't really matter what stage it is in terms of the process that we have to let ourselves go through in order to heal. Now, does any of that stuff sound like what I just described in terms of the hurricane side of relationships?
Indeed, I went through that.
Okay, Sandra Marine, does that sound like your situation too? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So Marine, because you have joined us on the Zoom, you can unmute yourself during this moment. This is an interactive session. We want to be able to share insight with you. And so we have the Zoom session. We're sharing it in a group, but you already know that it was an event that was set up. So unmute yourself, share your insight, and engage, because Dee is very engaging in how he shares what he's learned and what he wants to give you.
Hey, hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally am at one of those that he'd mentioned.
Indeed. Okay.
Yeah, I certainly haven't had a similar experience. I love the way you describe how the hurricane, comes into your life. I never thought about it that way, but yes, that's exactly what it was for me as well. It was a hurricane, and just was, and I love the way you describe the beach also, being on the beach.
Yeah, well, thank you both for sharing that. So, well, here's the good news. You're in the right place, because I think all of us can relate to this. And that was a little bit of my story. So just so you know a little bit more, I guess, about like my reference point. Let me just tell you a little bit about me. So I'm a date person. I've got like this almanac in my mind, and so my girlfriend, I'll say something like, "Oh yeah, well that was a Wednesday." She's like, "How do you remember this stuff?" It's just that's the way that I am. So speaking of days of the week, I remember what day of the week it was. It was Wednesday, February the 1st, 2017. I guess I'm just interesting like that. So I woke up and I went downstairs. This is what I did every day. I woke up and I went downstairs, and it was about 7:30 in the morning. I made coffee for my wife and I. We've been married for about 11 and a half years. We were best friends that got married, and I didn't want to date. And so instead of like dating and us kind of learning about each other from a romantic side, we just were two people that had hung out a whole lot. And so I basically asked her to marry me, and a couple months later we got married. Now we had been through a bunch of stuff together. We've been through some adventures together. We've been through some trials and some tribulations together. We were both entrepreneurs and self-employed people. So that by itself lends itself to like, there's a lot of connection and trust that I thought made us a really strong and successful couple. So on this day, it was going to be a big day for me. I'm an author and a speaker and a coach. I had been asked a couple of days prior by a good friend of mine if I would be willing to go with him about 3 hours away to deliver a speech to a church youth group of middle school and high school kids. And he's like, "We're going to talk about love, man. Like, that's your thing. We're going to talk about the power of love. And you're so good at it. Now I want you to come and I want you to share your story. And I'm going to share my story." And I was like, "Yes, let's do this. Let's put our superpowers together." So I'm excited about this trip I'm going to take with my buddy. I'm excited that I'm going to be doing this speaking event. I love getting to present to people. I love getting to share stories. So I'm downstairs, I'm making coffee. I go upstairs, I set her coffee next to the bed. I sit down next to her, I kiss her on the cheek, and she rolls over and she says, "Hey, there's something I really want to tell you, but I don't really know how to say it." And I was like, "Well, I'm your husband. Like, you can just say whatever you want to. Like, this is a safe space." But what came out of her mouth was a complete shock. And you can probably guess what it is that she's going to say before I even say it, based on the title of the presentation and the fact that I talked about an unexpected hurricane. So what she told me, and the timing of it is really interesting. And I'll be super honest with you guys, I did not even process, it's been 3.5 years. I didn't even process the weight of the timing of all this until today when I was preparing for this talk with you. Her knowing that I was going to go deliver a speech, just that by itself should have been, okay, I'm going to press pause on this and save this for later. But she didn't. What she said 30 minutes before I get picked up by my buddy is that she was done with our marriage and done with our relationship. She was done pretending to be Mrs. Smith, and that she wanted to go run away and find herself. But finding herself didn't have anything to do with me. Now, I'm sitting there in the bed trying to figure out what the hell is happening. Because who is this person that's going to run away and just go, the relationship's over? Like, it's not like, "Hey, I'm feeling these things. Let's work on us. I don't really know what to do. Can we work on this thing?" It's like, no, it's not. It's over. So shock is a gigantic understatement. everything, I'm an empathic person. Everything inside of me is just blowing up like Hiroshima. And I'm wondering, how can this be? Why is this happening? What did I do? What did I do? What I'm taking responsibility. Like, what did I do? Why? And what can I do to fix it? And why does she feel like she has to find? I'm asking all these questions now. All these questions are flying through my head at like 7 billion miles per hour. And I'm realizing that I've got about 30 minutes tops before my buddy's going to come pick me up. And then not only is he going to come pick me up, but I'm supposed to go teach kids about love. But where is love right now? And why is God letting this happen to me on this day at this time? Now, if that seems kind of crazy, welcome to my world. I didn't get answers to any of those questions in that moment, but they would come in time. And like, I did try to fight for my marriage. After the speech and everything ended up going fine, I came back and she wanted some space. I slept in a different room every night so that she had space. We spent about 30 minutes together a day just so she could heal and figure things out. And things kind of seemed like they were starting to get better. And one day she came home a few weeks later, having already decided that we were getting divorced. She was moving out at the end of the week and that it was done. Now, that by itself is a very painful experience. If you guys can relate to any of that, I feel the pain. Here's the other side of the coin. I'm curious how you felt about this. My marriage was my whole world. I derived my identity from being married. Not only from being married, but from being married to her, because we were kind of, in my community, we were kind of a power couple. That's the way people saw us. And I hid in some ways behind the fact that I was married to this beautiful girl. But here's the thing. The reality of the situation was I didn't believe in myself, because I believed this fear-based story that I've been carrying with me since I was a kid. Fear told me from a very young age that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't worthy. So part of the reason why I got married was to beat that fear, because I told myself, standing on the, what is it called? Place where you get married, whatever it is. We got married outside. Standing outside in the presence of the minister and the family and her. And I said with my voice out loud, I said, divorce is not an option. That was part of my vows. And now I'm hearing my wife say that divorce is the only way it's going to be. I got married trying to solve a problem that only I could solve. And that problem was that I let fear decide who I really was. I believed that when I got married, that was the answer to the fear, because finally this person says I do, so that means I really am worthy. But here's the thing. I was totally wrong. The truth is that until and unless you choose yourself and you fully love yourself, no matter what, you're not going to find that true peace. You're not going to find that solidarity. You're not going to find that wholeness. You're not going to find that fulfillment that you want and that you deserve, because it doesn't come from a relationship that you have with any other person, even the person that you choose to marry. It comes from within yourself, and ultimately it comes from your connection with God. I call God Almighty Love, because God is love. Here's the thing. What we have inside of us is a cup. Maybe you can even see yourself as a cup. And you can be a cup, or you can be a wine glass, you can be whatever. You're this vessel. And what we typically do in life is because if we believe the fear-based story, we go around to other people wanting other people to fill up our cup. What is supposed to go inside the cup? It's always the same thing. It's love. And if we tell ourselves that we're unworthy of love, then we will seek out other people to fill up our cup with their version of love. But that's not their job. And actually, it's not even our job to give love from the cup itself. Our job really is to see God as a never-ending waterfall, or if you want to go back to the ocean metaphor, that's a great metaphor too. God is a never-ending ocean of love, always blowing in, always flowing in. Waterfall is a good metaphor for this though, because if we're the cup, then we can step underneath the waterfall, and the waterfall never ends. It's abundant and it's always love. It's our job to get under that waterfall and let God fill up our cup of love. And then what's inside the cup is ours. what we give to other people comes from the overflow. So you don't get underneath the well or get underneath the waterfall just so you can get filled up and then finally you're good. No, you get to overflow, and all that spills out, that's for everybody else. But the love that he gives you inside your cup, that's for you. Now, what I want to show you guys today is how to get into this overflow and operate from this overflow so that the brokenness that you feel inside your vessel isn't brokenness anymore, because your whole vessel is full of love. Now, can you relate to anything that I shared from my personal story? You guys said sudden heartbreak was something you experienced, but how about the attachment to a belief about fear of abandonment or fear of rejection and feeling like your worst fears came to life when your marriage ended?
Exactly. I know for me personally, I appreciate the analogy because it reminds me of a story my grandmother told me that I forgot. I forgot that what she said was you're supposed to share what you have with others from your saucer, using your cup analogy. I didn't do that in my first marriage because as a daddyless daughter, I operated in abandonment and walked into that relationship with that. So it did not go well.
You know, I can relate also, when you talk about being a power couple, you know, in my church, we were, a power couple, and other couples was gleaming from us and was looking to us as an example. And it was, for my experience, it was such an embarrassment. And I waited and waited, was hoping for change, to happen, to improve. It didn't happen, but and eventually separation had to happen, and eventually divorce. But yes, I totally relate to the being the power couple. I forgot all about that until you mentioned it. Because the weight is on you, and you feel like you're the example for everybody and for everybody's hope.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes away, and you're the I guess you can call it failure of that marriage, um, ends up being the failure of other marriages. You feel like it's your responsibility for the success of their marriage for you to stay married. But at the same time, I agree with you also, you have to fully love yourself, because you also have to set boundaries, or otherwise that's going to tear you down.
Indeed. Maureen, would you have an experience you'd like to share?
Oh my goodness. I totally can relate. Talking about power couple. I'm actually on my second marriage. My first marriage, my husband and I were both in the ministry. He was the pastor, and I was very involved, and so was he. And it got to the point where we got divorced, his choice, and I did try to fight for our marriage, and it didn't work. But I also was, looking to my husband and even my children to fill that cup. I also, I was looking to God as well. But then when all that crashed, I really said, hey, God, what is going on? Everything I thought was true. I was never going to get a divorce, and it all just shattered. And it made me kind of look more to, like, who am I? Like, who are you, Maureen? I mean, God, show me, who are you? Where do I go from here? And then sadly, after a few years, I kind of just quickly made a decision and ran to another man, and that's where I'm at now. And I'm stuck, and I don't want to be in this place where I'm at.
Are you married, Maureen?
I am. And he's well aware that I am unhappily married. And he's well aware that I will be making steps for a divorce.
So there's no hope for the relationship you have now?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
So here's part of why we're sharing this. How much have you done on yourself to get you whole outside of that relationship? Because that's part of what Dee is sharing now.
And that's what I was thinking also. Are you whole right now? Are you whole?
Not the marriage, just you.
Yeah, I am really, I'm talking to someone else, a counselor, and he's helping me through the process of putting the focus back on my happiness outside of, my husband right now, and in order to make me whole.
Okay. So Dee has a few other points. Let's go through those. Think about that while he shares. And if you want to stay on a little bit longer, I don't mind being online with you. We will stop the Zoom live, have a personal conversation with you about where you are in this moment, because the way I got through to the other side, because this is my second marriage as well, but I walked into this marriage whole. I walked into this marriage healthy. And I walked into it with some things that Dee's going to share with you now. So I'm going to pause on that. And we invite you, if you would like to stay to the end and allow us to be a blessing to you further. I'm certain we don't mind staying on a little bit longer. Okay?
So the first step is something we just said a second ago. And this is the part to write down if you haven't written anything else down yet. I've got 3 steps. First step is love yourself. What does that mean? That means that you do a couple things. First off, chances are you don't know what love actually means. I know that I didn't know what love meant. I thought that love was like romantic and fun, and like we're gonna, hold each other and snuggle in and everything's gonna be good. And if it doesn't feel good, then we're just gonna hold each other more and snuggle in more. I didn't realize that love involves other things like patience and sometimes space. Love also involves, you guys said boundaries. If you ever experienced emotional or verbal abuse, love doesn't mean that you sit there and take it. It doesn't mean that you lash out necessarily, but you can say, hey, I don't deserve to be spoken to this way. If you've got something that you need to say that's mean and aggressive, like I need you to work on yourself and approach me from a loving place, because that's what we are. But you choosing yourself, actually, that's the second step, but I'll get there in a second. Step number 1 is you loving yourself. Loving yourself is actually the root of confidence, peace. Talked about wholeness a second ago. That's where wholeness comes from. It doesn't come necessarily from some sort of 12-step program. All you have to do is learn how to love yourself. So a principle that I live by, and this is where the farming stuff comes in. Your heart is a garden, and your mind is also a garden. And whatever you plant inside yourself with your thoughts and your beliefs and your ideas, and also the things that you consume by way of media, whether that's social media or movies or magazines or podcasts that you listen to, the people that you associate with, the people that you spend time with, all of these influences that you have, they're all planting seeds inside your life. And whatever you plant inside yourself is what you're going to produce. You're going to produce it through your actions, your attitudes, and your behaviors. You're also going to produce it in your relationships. So I planted lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of fear inside me for a really, really, really long time. So guess what I produced? And guess what I attracted? I attracted a really, really fearful person. Now, I was a really, really fearful person, so I'm not blaming her for being a fearful person. Like attracts like. We mirrored each other really, really, really well. And one of the things about me, when I go through fear, like I had a fear of getting beat up all the time because I'm a really kind of skinny dude. And so the way I finally dealt with that fear was I joined an amateur boxing gym. Now, I wrote about the principles that I learned in boxing, and I apply it to overcoming heartbreak in my book. It's called Be Solid: How to Go Through Hell and Come Out Whole. My practice of dealing with fear is let's just experience this thing and get over it. My ex-wife's experience of dealing with fear is running away. What I've learned is that you can't run from fear. What you have to do is embrace love. So you choose to love yourself. Lack of self-love does a lot of terrible things. It produces a need for validation from other people. That's also called codependency and people-pleasing. It also produces, sometimes, you projecting your pain onto other people. It produces an inability to take responsibility for yourself. Ultimately, when you don't love yourself, you get stuck. So Maureen, you were talking about that a second ago. An indication that your relationships, all of them, are going to struggle is when you don't know how to love yourself. So the first step you need to take is learn what love is, surround yourself with loving people, and experience what love looks like when it's lived out. The second step is this: we fight for what we love. So you loving yourself is you choosing to fight for yourself. And by that, I mean you recognize your worthiness. You are worth fighting for. When I decided that I was worthy, and it had to be a decision that I could make. Worthiness is an inside job. It's not anything anybody else can decide for you. You decide, I am worthy. And because I'm worthy, I'm going to fight for myself. That means I'm going to fight for love for myself. I'm not fighting for love for somebody else. In a healthy relationship, you don't fight against each other. You fight for love, and you join together in strength and in wholeness and in unity, and you do whatever it takes to work for the betterment of that relationship because you believe in the best in each other. But that also requires you to operate from that overflow of love that God's pouring into you and pouring into both of you and pouring into both of your relationship, pouring into your relationship into both of you. That means that you're taking responsibility for yourself. You're believing in the best in yourself. You're believing in the best in your partner, and that you're operating out of wholeness. But it really comes down to you choosing to believe that you are worth fighting for. One of my old coaches is a guy named Steve. He's from Australia. And he told me this phrase that has always stuck with me. The more you back yourself, the faster you'll get to where you want to go. So whether or not that's your personal successes in your relationships, whether or not that's your business success, whether or not that's your spiritual success, you choosing to believe in your own worthiness and you choosing to back yourself, you choosing to fight for yourself, that's how you do that. Simple way to do this. I don't know if you guys practice affirmations. I do. The first verb that you learn in any new language is the verb to be. How do you say to be? I am. When people ask you who you are, if you tell them your roles, like I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm a caretaker, I'm a nurse, this career path, you're not telling anybody who you are. You're telling them the roles that you serve. Who you are is more than the roles. You can change roles any day, but you don't change who you are. When people ask me who I am, simple. I am love. Every day, I affirm to myself in my journal and in my private meditation practice that I am the love that I seek. I am my own true love. And by being love and by choosing to love myself and by believing that I am worthy of love and stepping into that, that's where wholeness comes from. I am love. Super simple affirmation. Tell yourself that over and over and over and over and over again. And the third step is simple. It's embrace the process. I said at the very beginning, we all want to take, all want to download the app from the App Store, whether it's Android or Apple, that's wholeness. Now, download. Oh, I need to put my finger on it. Okay, good. Oh, now I have it. Good. Now I'm going to press the button. Oh, sweet. Now I'm whole. That's the way we want it to be, but that's not the way that it works. The way that it works is we let love do its job. And love doing its job means that it's got some things it needs to clean out inside of us. It needs to clean out doubt and fear and worry and anxiety and codependency and us not believing in ourselves. And it needs to do the job of bringing healing and restoration and peace and joy and fulfillment and strength and hope and solidarity and love and love and love and love inside of us. And that means that every day you commit to yourself. Every day you commit to love, and you spend the time and you take the time to heal your mind and plant love inside your mind. Heal your heart and plant love inside your heart. Heal your spirit and plant love inside your spirit. Heal your body and plant love inside your body, so that you are becoming the love that you seek. I'm naturally a giver by nature. I'm an empathic person. If you guys are empathic, you can totally relate and understand about how you feel, the weight of other people's feelings. And maybe that has been something that's triggered codependency inside of you. And if that's the case, I can totally relate. Us as empaths, we're real life care bears. We have this amazing ability to access love and shine it out to other people. to help them heal and help them feel comforted and help them feel peace. I used to think I was just a super sensitive person. But now I realize, no, my sensitivity is actually a superpower, and I'm a superhero nerd, so that works for me. If any of that stuff sounds familiar to you, the codependency stuff, and also the codependency stuff while you're trying to figure out how to heal from heartbreak, I've got something I want to share with you and I want to give you. Tanya, can you show them what my email address is? My contact information. There we go. All right, so I have this ebook called Love is Your Superpower. I'd love to send it to you for free. Just send me an email and say, hey, D. Grant, you said you'd give me some free stuff, or you can start a conversation. I'd love to connect with you guys. If there's any questions that you have about anything that I've said, here's all my contact information. I make myself available to help people because I am love, and love is a servant. So you show me how I can serve you and be a resource for you. Anybody got any questions? Want to share anything? Hey, you're muted. You're muted.
I realize I want to say thank you. This is phenomenal, and I am appreciative that you were guided to this group. Just like I had a heart to join the group to see who I can help, because I made it on the other side. I figured out how to navigate the hurdles of life after divorce, and I want to be the vessel like you shared earlier. And I have never thought about myself as a Care Bear, but I like that. So thank you for that today.
You're welcome. Thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate getting to share this stuff, because I've come out on the other side too. I didn't give all those details, but for me, it's taken 3 years. I mean, obviously February to October, now 2020. But what I found was not only was doing the healing work and taking the time to learn what love is valuable for myself and my own healing journey, but that's actually what it takes to attract the right person into your life. Mm-hmm. I will admit that I spent a little bit of time 2.5 or so years ago searching for love, because I know I've got this massive heart and I've got a lot of love that I want to give. And I went out and I tried to find it. And I didn't search everywhere. I spent maybe a month on a dating site and I was like, this is crap. I'm not doing this crap. So I got off that. And what it was for me was I surrendered and I chose to change the way that I see myself and the way that I see love. So when I would see other couples, instead of getting jealous of them, I'd be like, God's bringing me that. That's coming into my future. Oh yeah, I'm so excited for them. That's coming into my future. And I surrendered the desire and I stopped looking. And then that's when the magic happened. And that's the most beautiful way I can say that that's the way love happens.
And that is comical to me, because it seems like that's God's perfect path. When you decide you are done searching for everything else and surrender yourself to the process, He brings to you who He wants for you. So I'm appreciative. So let me pause really quick, because I want to get some of the, I guess, logistics out the way to wrap this up a little bit, because I want to take a few moments, Maureen, if you were interested, for us to minister to you on this Zoom. So I want to wrap it up so that those that are going to look at it later can get the information to come in. But I want to take some time, if you would allow us to speak into your heart. Would that be okay?
Sure.
All right, so let me share the screen really quick. So thank you, Dee, so much for sharing this information. For those of you who would like to stay in touch with him, please reach out. He has some great vitamin D Grant videos to share with you. Follow him on his Facebook page, and you can email him for the free ebook, Love is Your Superpower. You've got just a snippet of what he's able to share with you today. There is more to give, because when you take the time to invest in yourself, be that expanding who you are with coaches, because I've taken the time to find coaches that I needed to speak into various elements of my life. And throughout the various stages of finding the better self of who I am on the inside, it's taken me different people to tap into what I needed to get me to my next level. And there's a special coach that's on this line today. So Coach Sandra Fancel is on. Thank you so much for joining. She is one of my personal mentors and personal coach that has blessed my life. And she has offered to join us for a session in December to give you guys some insight. I'm not going to let the cat out the bag about what that is, but you've seen little things along the way that I've shared in the group. But what I want to also let you know that as an individual that shares information, I am also starting a 30-day challenge for authenticity, to live your authentic self. Starting November 1st, you can inbox me for the start of that. It's a separate thing that I have available underneath my platform, and I would love to feed into your soul and help you through that process. Inbox me for that information, and I'll share a little bit along the way with the group. But it is not an event that is exclusive to the Life After Divorce group. With that, I want to say thank you. This is Tanya E. Hood, walking in my purpose, and I want you to do the same. Thank you, everyone. Let me stop sharing so we can all say thank you. We appreciate
Thank you.
We'll
That was
see you
wonderful.
later. Join us for the next Red Alert Diaries with Tanya E. Hood, featuring, you'll find out later. All right, take care, everyone.